We have always had, since the day we settled here, a gentle understanding with the creatures who live beyond our borders. We do not stray into their woods. They do not come into our village. I have always pictured them in some ways as our protectors. They have allowed us to live here, nestled amongst them in this untouched place. By the markings we find this morning on our homes, I feel they were warning us. We may question ourselves at moments such as these. Did we make the right decision to settle here? I fear our days of peace are over. In a way that I shall never know.
Hello, everybody. We are back. We are a day late because I had to help my mom with some stuff yesterday, and then I took a nap before I went to work. And then me and I haven't been busy. Jagger's just had a busy day, so we are finally getting to our recording. I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot to talk about. This is part 2 of our M. Night Shyamalan deep dive. We will be discussing The Signs and The Village, which I think will be a more agreeable conversation than last Friday, which I'm looking forward to. And we're going to discuss some movie news, some stuff we've been watching recently. But before we get into that, our next couple episodes. So Tuesday, we got an episode coming out. It's our another IMDb episode. We are going to be reviewing 12 Years a Slave and Blade Runner 2049.
Wait, Blade Runner?
No, not 2049, the original Blade Runner.
Okay.
So I am looking forward to that. Next Friday, I don't have my M. Night filmography pulled up right now. Give me a sec. Is that our Lady in the Water?
Oh, yeah, Lady in the Water and The Happening.
Yeah, so next Friday we will be reviewing Lady in the Water and The Happening. And then the Tuesday after that, we will be reviewing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And maybe just talking about Harry Potter as a... Oh, man. Jagger, you should start busting out Harry Potter.
Yeah, wait, it's Deathly Hallows Part 2 we're doing, right?
Yeah, and that's like the final one. So maybe just start watching like one a day or something since you're checking off so many.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think it'll give you a greater appreciation for that movie, especially if you've seen all of them. Like I watched before sunset comes before sunrise on the IMDb list. So I watched before sunrise first and then before sunset. So Jagger will be watching a lot of Harry Potter this week. Which isn't an awful thing, except for the fourth one. The fourth one isn't great, but Alfonso Cuarón directs the third one, Prisoner of Azkaban, and it rips. It is so good.
I need to just power through some Cuarón movies, like on a complete side note.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen enough of his. But yeah, that will be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 and Children of Heaven, which I think is like an Italian soccer movie. Good reviews. So looking forward to that. And then that next Friday will be maybe one of the worst episodes in average film enjoyer history. We will be reviewing M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender and After Earth. So
I'm gonna come in spitting bars though, as far as it comes with Last Airbender. I'm gonna defend that movie. The high heavens sort of need to.
Do you have it logged?
Do I? Because if not, I will tell you my rating.
What's your rating? I don't see it.
Solid 2.5.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
Okay, yeah. Keep it going.
Alright, yeah, so those are our upcoming episodes. Again, as usual, give us a follow on our socials. Do all that stuff. Like, subscribe. Comment down below what you're thinking of our M. Night Shyamalan series so far. And, you know what? Comment down below this week what your favorite episode of The Average Film Enjoyer is. Like, what's a... Because we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, so comment down below, like, an episode that you really, really love.
Yeah.
Please. Because we want to know. But yeah, that's about it. Jagger, how's your week been? What you been up to?
My week's been great. I've been watching a lot of movies, man. My last, 2 episodes, I've been spitting crazy numbers out, but...
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I mean, this has been a month, man.
Yeah.
I'll count how many movies I've seen this month. Put that out during watch list. I'm just curious for myself, honestly.
Yeah. I think last month I did 94. I haven't broken 100 since like November. From like August to November, I was breaking 100 consistently.
I'm at 36 movies 8 days into the month.
Yeah, that's pretty good. If you beat my record of most logged movies in a month, I will be very impressed. Last August, I don't know if you remember, I did 148 logs.
Not happening. That's unhealthy, Trey. That's what that is.
It really was. I barely slept, but people in the Discord called me out. They were like, we're going to beat you this month. We're going to beat you so bad, you're going to be bottom of the leaderboard. And me being the extremely competitive person I am, I was like, oh no, that's not happening. I'm going to wipe the floor with you guys. And the second place person was like 110.
Next month, I don't think I'm doing anything. Or you know what? The rest of this month, I will just do movie after movie after movie after movie after movie. And I'll do it with 90-minute movies, and I will crush your numbers. I have to. Now I'm dedicated.
Are we gonna have are we just gonna start our own competition to see who can log more movies every month?
Dude, I'm not doing anything until September. If you want to keep it going, I'll do it.
I work now, man. I work full time.
I know.
No,
but
I'll try to keep up. My goal is to stay consistent at like 85, between 85 and 95 movies every month.
Okay. Because my friends have been calling me out and saying that I need to, like, get a life. So let's prove them wrong. I can do something with myself.
Dude, it is a life. It's just I enjoy being by myself more than I enjoy hanging out with other people. I'd rather sit at home and watch movies all day than go have to worry about other people. I'd rather just sit at home and watch movies. It's so much more enjoyable.
It is. It seriously is.
Even if it's like a bad movie, I still enjoy that. Actually, no, it depends on the movie. I still, most of the time, I still enjoy it more than like going to hang out with people.
Entirely agree.
Yeah. Yeah, my week's been good. Started my new job as a line cook at Red Robin this week.
Really?
Which was good. It's the first job I've had in a while that I feel like I'm actually doing a good job. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's about it. I've been working it right. Oh, new. I was playing a lot of Lego Star Wars, trying to 100 it out, but the new MLB The Show update came out, so back on the grind, which I love. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've been doing: watching movies, hanging out. Watched the Muppets with my nephew this afternoon. He had never seen it, and that's genuinely one of my all-time favorite like kids movies. I think it's so funny. But I'll talk more about that once we get into the watch list. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Movie news. Oh yeah, I don't have my mouse plugged in.
I can't think of any movies.
It's been a pretty light week. I think the biggest thing is Bad Boys. It's just freaking killing it at the box office. $53 million opening.
$53 million opening for what?
Bad Boys 4.
Excuse me? People are going to see it?
Dude, it's getting actual good. I mean, it's obviously not a movie that you're going to be into because it's just an action movie. But, it's like actually getting pretty good reviews as like a summer blockbuster. And Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are pretty funny together. So, I don't know.
I'm still like a little bit on watching Will Smith movies. Feel a little bit weird.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's not... I mean, it's not like a super hard to digest movie. It's a pretty accessible movie, and I mean, it's fun actors, you know. So, and it's not like crazy artsy, so I'm not surprised that it's doing as well as it's doing. And I mean, a lot of people go to the movie theater to get out of the heat. Because movie theaters always stay really cool. And I remember in past summers, during like heat waves, we go to the movie theater to get out of the heat, and get out of the house. So I'm not crazy surprised. I just like seeing movies making money. You know, I don't care what movie it is. I just like seeing movies make money.
Fair enough.
That was about the only... Wait, no. What? Oh, the reason I was like, I've already seen all these is because I was talking about all this movie news with Evan yesterday. Oh, we didn't talk about this. Me and Evan did. Like, non-podcast. Okay. I was very confused. I was like, why isn't there more? Did you see we're getting a new Hunger Games movie? Another one?
Cool, another one. Are you a fan of the ones that exist currently? Because the first one was good, and the ones after that, really, I just gave up on.
I think the first one is really good. I think the second one, Catching Fire, is the best one.
Really?
I love Catching Fire, dude. And I think Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 are... okay. I think they're good I think they're enjoyable. I think I have one of them at a 3 and one at a 3.5. And then the one that came out last year, with what's her face? Rachel Zegler, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably my lowest rated movie of last year. That movie is genuinely awful. and I have mutuals who rated it like a 4, 4.5. I had a couple people who rated it a 5. I just don't understand that. It was so terrible. It was so terrible. And like, you know me, I'm pretty generous when it comes to ratings. Like, I tend to be more on the positive side than the negative side, you know?
Yeah, pretty consistently, you give movies more than what they deserve.
Exactly. Well, not consistently.
Not consistently, but it
Some
does
of the
happen.
movies that I give high ratings deserve it, you know?
Some
But
of them do. Yeah, absolutely.
a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
Because personal enjoyment is a huge thing. Like any movie, any genre, anything. Personal enjoyment is a huge thing for me when it comes to rating something.
Yeah.
And that movie was just so boring. It's like 2.5 hours long, and it just felt empty. Like, nothing felt like it had a point, and it's just terrible. So I am very much not excited for the new upcoming one. Yeah. Hey, have you heard anything about this new Kevin Costner movie, Horizon, that's coming out?
I've heard things about it. Nothing good, though.
Yeah. It's like
a 2-part movie that will come to Prime, and I'll watch it, and I'll be like, oh, that wasn't very good. And that's about where that movie ends.
Yeah, and it's like, I haven't heard about it till like today, you know? Which, I'm just like, what kind of marketing are we doing? If, like, this is the first I'm hearing of it, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking at the, I follow someone who just reviewed one of the Lord of the Rings movies. At what point am I gonna have to give my review of this movie, like my opinion?
You should just do it. Let's just set it straight right now. Have you seen all 3?
I've seen the first 2.
All right. Once you watch Return of the King, then you can give your opinion.
Okay. Yep.
You got to watch Return of the King, though.
All right.
I think that was about it for movie news that I had, at least. There was nothing huge I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah. Everything else, you can look up for yourself. Yeah. Should we get into watch list?
Yeah, I'm excited.
You want to start, or do you want me to start?
I'll start with the 2, and then I'll go over to you. So quick 2. Instant Family. I saw this movie a couple of years ago. I still had it bought on Prime. So I watched it again. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
then
I think I've seen that entire movie from clips on TikTok.
Probably. It feels like that type of movie. It's like Young Sheldon. Most people have only seen it through TikTok. Yeah. Shout out to Young Sheldon. That show's awesome. Then I watched Late Night with the Devil because I saw a TikTok of someone who bought an HDMI to AV converter and plugged their Roku into like a CRT television. And I have my grandma's old CRT television, like a tube TV. So I bought a converter and I plugged the Roku in and I watched Late Night with the Devil on a 70s television. And dude, that was an out-of-body experience. That was
sounds sick.
Thing. So I give it a 4.5 this time because even though I have qualms with this movie, that squished all of it. That was awesome.
What are your qualms, if you don't mind me asking?
The ending. The ending is my really old.
You're not a fan?
No, it felt rushed to me, but I don't know. I'm probably wrong about that.
Yeah, me and Evan did an episode on it. And I don't think, my opinion is that, like, I can totally see where you're coming from, but my opinion is that it just feels rushed because the pacing changes so quickly.
Yeah,
like, it's like this whole movie, you're like, it's like this kind of slower burn, like ethereal horror, and then those last 20 minutes, it's just like, wow, like foot pedal to the metal, just brick on the gas, just like going for it. And so I think the transition in between of those left something to be desired, because it's just kind of jarring, where you're just like, oh, we're going,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can totally see where you're coming from. It just it didn't like affect my viewing experience enough for me to give it lower than a 5. I just loved the rest of it too much.
Yeah. That's totally fair, man.
Like the vibes of that movie. Me and Evan were talking about movies that just give off like perfect Halloween vibes, like movies that are perfect to watch on Halloween, and that's like number 1. The Halloween vibes that gives off is incredible. And seeing David Dastmalchian in a lead role is also incredible, because he's a great freaking actor. But yeah, that's the end of my rant. First one, what is that squeaking noise?
What is that squeaking noise? I think that is something under my desk, and I have to figure out what that is. But you can hear it because it's loud for me.
It's loud for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait, what if I
just mess with it after we're done?
No, I'm not trying to mess with it. I'm being serious. I'm not.
It's just doing that?
Yeah.
Weird.
Hold on, let me unscrew this thing.
You guys get to listen to Jagger go through some technical difficulties. First up for me, what did I last talk? Yeah, so first up for me is I rewatched Ghostbusters 2 because I realized I didn't have it logged. Again, these movies are like, it's, how people will give like Phantom Menace like 5 stars and you're like, oh, that's just because of nostalgia. That's why I give these movies 5 stars. I grew up watching these movies. I think Ghostbusters 2 is genuinely hilarious. I think Bill Murray is at his best when he is starring as Peter Venkman. Like that's like the peak of Bill Murray comedy for me. Just like a sarcastic asshole. I think he kills it. I just love this universe. I love the characters. I just have so much fun with these movies, and they're endlessly rewatchable. And Rick Moranis is just an absolute gem in these movies, as he is in everything. I wish he would come back. I miss him. By the way, for everybody listening, Rick Moranis is not dead. He just has
not acted in forever.
Yeah, because in the 90s, his wife died in like a car accident or something. And so he stopped acting to take care of his kids. And he's just been doing that, which is super cool. And we want him back because he's super funny. I think the last thing he did was Brother Bear.
Is it?
Or maybe Brother Bear 2?
Something around there.
Yeah. Brother Bear 2 was 06. You want to give us your next 2?
Yeah. So my next 2 are... let me pull it up. After that. So Evan had said, if you are having trouble with the rest of the M. Night dialogue, like watch early Yorgos Lanthimos. Then you'll see bad dialogue. So I decided to finally cut the cold turkey and watch the movie I've been avoiding for absolutely ever, Killing of a Sacred Deer. I went into it expecting Poor Things, like this sort of comedic movie. It was not that, dude. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. that ending like area started to come around. I felt like I was watching Funny Games again. I wasn't having fun.
Yeah.
But it's a great film. So I give it
Yeah.
4 stars. I really did enjoy parts of it, and other parts of it I didn't enjoy as much as they were just high quality film. Then I watched Dream Scenario because I didn't even realize it was on Max. And Nick Cage comedy, always good. Just
that's one I still need to check out.
I give it 4.5.
Yeah, my dad he has that movie at a 4.5. He really, really likes that movie.
It's quite good.
He doesn't love the end. No, it's my mom. My mom likes the movie. She just doesn't like the ending.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, next for me. Also, you should watch The Lobster, because if you like that Yorgos like weird, quirky comedy, that's The Lobster.
Okay.
It's really, really funny. I think that might be my favorite Yorgos is The Lobster.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. And you didn't like Poor Things, right?
I didn't like Poor Things, no. Too weird for me.
Fair enough.
I can really respect it, but I just don't it's just not for me, you know.
Fair enough.
Next, checked off. I went back to shuffling my watch list. So, watched the first one that came up. It's another Shudder horror movie called Unwelcome.
I haven't heard of that.
You've heard of it, or you haven't?
I have not heard of it. Yeah.
It was enjoyable. It had some fun sequences, some creepy sequences. It's basically about this couple that moves out. The husband, his aunt dies, and she leaves them hit her house, and there's like these goblins that live in the forest that they have to leave food out for every night, and it's like them dealing with the goblins. And like there's also like subtleties of Irish people hating English people and that rivalry. I don't know. I thought it was enjoyable enough, you know. It wasn't like I didn't have an awful time watching it. I gave it 3 stars.
It's so funny to me. There are movies that clearly have titles that are like, oh, that's a Shudder horror movie. So when the notifications come in for who's watching what movies, I'm now able to tell if something is or is not a Trey movie. Because if it is a Shudder horror movie, it is you. And if it is not a Shudder horror movie, it's probably not you. And
I watch a lot of Shudder, dude. I want to make that subscription worth it. I mean, it's a great subscription. They have some bangers on Shudder. There's this one I was telling Evan about a while back. I can't even remember the title. I'll have to look at Michael Shannon's filmography. It's a crazy story, though. So I was watching this movie, and this was when we first started talking about Michael Shannon and how he kind of just pops up at random moments in the most random movies. But whenever he pops up, it's like, oh, shoot, Michael Shannon. That's an automatic 1.5 stars because we just love Michael Shannon. And I was watching this Shudder horror movie, and I am not shitting you. When this guy is like FaceTiming his ex, and she's like with her husband, and she's like, oh, I can't remember his name. Let's just call him Bill. She's like, oh, Bill is here if you want to say hi. And he goes, hi, Bill. And then Michael Shannon just like pops up onto the camera and is like, hello. And I was like, holy fuck, Michael Shannon. And also in this movie, my boy, the main character, just mixes Pepto-Bismol into his coffee, and it's a way to like how they judge his mental health. So like every day that this creepy shit keeps happening, every day he wakes up And every day, the more stress and the more crazy he gets, the more Pepto-Bismol he puts in the coffee. And by the end of the movie, he pours, like, the entire coffee cup is just filled to the brim with Pepto-Bismol and then a couple drops of coffee. This movie is wild. I'm trying to find the title right now.
I'm trying to find it. There's a couple of...
Yes, it's called Night's End.
Oh, that's the one that popped up when I shifted, or when I filtered down to Michael Shannon and Shudder. Yeah.
Yeah, Night's End. It is the wildest movie I have ever seen. You should give it a watch. It's crazy. There is some just unreal choices made. It's wild. Shout out to Michael Shannon though. He's great. In everything. I don't feel like he's very rarely a lead, but he's always just killing it as a supporting cast.
He's like Paul, or what's the guy's name that's in all those Paul Thomas Anderson movies? We were talking about him the other day. How he's always a supporting actor, but when he crushes the whole movie.
Philip Baker Hall?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was never... I mean, he's the lead in The Master.
Is he?
He's a co-lead with Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, he has just as much, if not more, screen time.
Yeah, that might be it. But a lot of the time, he's a supporting actor, and a lot of lists have him as one of the greatest supporting actors of all time.
Well, he's just one of the greatest actors of all time, hands down.
Fair enough.
But yeah, did I talk about my most recent one? Yeah, Unwelcome. So, now let's just go one by one.
Okay. After the episode with, the last episode where I reviewed Welcome to the Dollhouse, Trey said, make sure one of the next movies you watch is Lars and the Real Girl. So I made sure to get around to Lars and the Real Girl when I could. So my next movie is Lars and the Real Girl. I sobbed for so much of that movie, man. Like, after it was over, I was supposed to call you, and I was like, can I have, 5 minutes, please? Because I couldn't do it, man. In my review, I said, Lars is just a glorified Ned Flanders, and I think that that's really the best way to describe this movie. A whole movie about Ned Flanders, and you kind of gotta love it for that.
A socially isolated Ned Flanders.
Yeah. A socially isolated Ned Flanders.
Yeah, that movie is so sweet, and it's so wholesome, but it's also so heartbreaking. It's just a good movie. You know, Ryan Gosling giving his most nuanced and odd performance.
Yeah.
He kills it there. Great character arcs. I would love to do a full episode on that movie. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
We just need to get Evan to watch it.
Has he not seen it?
No. And I think he would love it, honestly.
Probably.
Next up for me, I went back to checking off movies off the bottom of my watch list. I watched 12 Angry Men.
Yes.
The original. This was a first-time watch for me. This is like an all-timer. Whether you like it or not, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. Is this Sidney Lumet's debut? Was this his, directorial debut?
I think it may have been.
Yeah. So I had seen Dog Day Afternoon and I had seen Network before watching this. And The Verdict. I forgot I've seen that. That movie's pretty good. So I had seen a few Sidney Lumet movies before I watched this. And the biggest thing I noticed throughout all three of the ones I've seen is that the one thing he is so good at is writing a script and writing characters. He is so damn good at keeping you engaged in the most boring topics. He is just so good at that. And I knew what this movie was about going into it, and reading the synopsis, I was not excited. I was like, oh boy, another boring 50s movie. Let me tell you this.
Jury duty.
This movie is not boring in the slightest. Sidney Lumet, again, showing he's one of the greatest writers for film. He's one of the greatest script writers of all time. Excellent cast. Everybody kills it. Specifically shouting out Henry Fonda, who was amazing, and Lee J. Cobb, who is so good. Juror number 3 and juror number 8. Both of them were absolutely incredible. I mean, it's engaging. It's enthralling. It's so damn good. It is so damn good. And I called Jagger after to talk to him about it. And there's just so many different undertones and different themes to like dive into. I gave it a 4.5. I could definitely see, I think this is one that benefits from rewatch. So I think this will go up to a 5 at some point, but I'm keeping it at I feel comfortable with a 4.5 for right now. There's a couple moments that dragged for me, but again, I do think it'll go up on rewatch.
Yeah. It's a very, very good film, but it takes a lot of watches to really digest like every single line that's said. And there's a lot of lines with a lot of importance.
Every line is written with intention, and every line is important in some way or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just an incredible screenplay.
Not
the best of all time, but it's pretty great.
No, I would go to Anatomy of a Fall still. I stand by that take. I do.
I don't think that's an awful take. That's not it for me, but that screenplay, whoa! That movie is incredible. I need to rewatch that. That movie is so damn good.
It's really great. But my next one, Trey, you're a big fan of action movies, right? Like a straight action movie.
Yeah, I have fun with them.
You gotta watch Flash Gordon, man.
No,
Flash Gordon,
I know.
It's a 5-star action movie for me. That's saying something.
Yeah.
Got the 4K of this movie. Dude, this movie absolutely bangs. I hadn't seen it in a minute. But yeah, movie's so good. It's so good.
My mom loves that movie. She like grew up watching it. Yeah.
It's just wild. Essentially, the plot is like a football player goes to space and tries to save the planet. Like that's
and Queen. That's the Queen theme song, right? The Flash.
Yeah, Queen did the whole score for this movie.
Oh my god! I don't know why I haven't watched that yet.
It's good.
So next, I watched this movie called Spiral. This has a 2.7 rating overall on Letterboxd, which I do think is a bit low. I gave this a 3.5. This is directed by the guy who produced one of the VHS movies, which, Jagger, you still need to binge that whole trilogy. I think those are like right up your alley, because they're like what do you call a movie where it's a bunch of short stories that aren't really related?
An anthology.
An anthology. They're anthology movies, and there's like 6 of them. I would just skip the... Which one is it? All of them have 2 or 3 pretty good ones, except VHS Viral. I think that's the second, or I think that's the third one. Don't watch that one. It sucks. There's not a single good short in there. But all the rest of them have dope shorts. They're super creative, super original. They're really fun. And they like do like all different genres of horror and all different like monster types and stuff. I think you should at least, like, if you're wanting to check them out, watch the second, because you don't have to watch them in order. I think the second one is probably the best one, at least in my opinion. Followed closely by number 4. But watch the second one first and see if you're into it. The second one has some bangers.
Okay.
They're really cool. But back to what I was talking about, Spiral. This is a movie about a same-sex couple, 2 guys who move into a small town to like get away from the city, but the vibes are weird. Weird vibes from the neighbors. And if that's not enough to intrigue you, it's kind of a cultish type horror,
Nice.
with also some undertones and themes of homophobia and discrimination and all that stuff. And it kind of has some political commentary that I really enjoyed. It kind of, like, it's very obvious what they're trying to say, you know? But, like, I still enjoyed it. Yeah, I think this was a good watch. 3.5 stars, definitely worth your time.
Valid.
Good acting. It's just kind of a slower burn.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so something like I'm thinking of really slow burn horror movies. I don't know. Just
Exorcist
it's a slow.
is a pretty slow burn.
Which one?
Exorcist is a pretty slow burn. I'm just trying to think.
Oh yeah, that is a slow burn. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a slow burn in the. I'm not comparing it to The Exorcist. It is not on that level, but it is in the sense that of like how slow of a burn it is. It's very comparable to The Exorcist, because The Exorcist, there's very few things that happen till like the last half hour.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe I'll watch that tonight. I haven't watched. I'm due for Jagger. We need to do an Exorcist watch party.
Yeah.
I'm due for a rewatch. I don't know when the last time you watched it was, but I know that's one of like that's a horror movie that we both agree on. That's in both of like our top 10 horrors.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. You want to give us your next one?
Yeah, my next one's Clue. I'm in like a movie club, and Wes gave me Clue. Man, that's a fun movie, dude.
Yeah.
The gimmick was that in theaters there was 3 different endings, and you would get one of the endings, and on the home video release you could see all 3 of them sort of back to back to back.
Oh, that's cool.
That was cool. Yeah, I mean, it's 4 stars just because of how fun it is, and it has Tim Curry, which always adds an extra star. Tim Curry's awesome.
Yeah, the Tim Curry tax credit. So when you watched it, it like had the 3 different endings back to back.
It would play one ending, and then it would be like, that could have happened, but, and then it would play another ending.
Oh, that's cool.
But what really
I like
happened.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip Signs in the Village. I watched those back to back. Next up, it's official, ladies and gentlemen. I have found the worst Nick Cage movie.
Yeah.
I talk about this on the pod all the time. I've never given a Nick Cage movie lower than a 3.5 star. Even though some of them definitely, if I was honestly rating them on like the quality of the film, some of them definitely deserve to be below that. But I just love Nick Cage so much that any movie he's in is at least a 3.5 star.
Have you seen the 06 Wicker Man?
No, but I want to, but I do want to watch the original first.
That's a choice.
Because I've heard the original is really good.
Yeah.
So a small group of survivors are left behind after millions of people suddenly vanish during the rapture, and the world is plunged into chaos and destruction. This film is called Left Behind. It is part of a trilogy about this rapture. And boy, did this suck. Let me give you an example of a scene. There's a scene in here where all these people are at the mall, and there's like these break dancers doing like a little show, and everybody's clapping along. These people could not have been more offbeat. It is so... I couldn't focus on anything else. Everybody was so off. They were all together, but they were offbeat, and it was just awful. The dialogue is awful. Some of the choices made here are awful. Their goal here is if you're not a Christian, make sure you're a Christian by the end of the movie. This movie just really sucks. It is... Oh, here comes my nephew. it really is real stinky. But like if you're just looking for like a so bad it's good movie, this is like peak of so bad it's good. It is laughably bad. Like Jagger, I think this is like right up your alley of so like Tommy Wiseau, so bad it's good.
Oh my god, I gotta check that out. It's on my watch list now. Where's it streaming?
Yeah. Where do you think? Tubi.
Oh yes, that's always a good sign. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely everybody check that out. If you're a fan of the so bad it's good kind of genre, check out Left Behind with Nicolas Cage. It's so stinky and so enjoyable.
All right, so my next one, Trey, I think you might like. I'm just going to read the plot, though, because I don't know. A personal shopper in Paris refuses to leave the city until she makes contact with her twin brother who had previously died there. Her life becomes more complicated when a mysterious person contacts her via text message.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart.
This is a Kristen Stewart one you were telling me about. I read the reviews and I read, like, about it, and it does sound like something I would really enjoy.
Dude, this movie's awesome. I was in the library, and they had a Criterion release of it, and I had never heard of it before. And, dude, this movie was sick. It had some great supernatural horror beats, some great dramatic beats. It's visually stunning, great location use. I've had it a 99 out of 100. I think it's absolutely, like, it's a spectacle. But yeah, man, it's really, really good.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Next up, I watched this film called The Devil's Candy, which you need to add this to your watch list right now. It is so good. A struggling painter is possessed by satanic forces after he and his young family move into their dream home in rural Texas. I have this at a 4.5. Evan has this at a 4. This movie is like the only way to describe this movie is metal. Like, you know how you sometimes you use metal as an adjective? This movie is metal. Like, God, dude, this movie is just badass. It is so sick. The entire soundtrack is metal music, like hardcore metal. It's awesome. It's the visually, it's incredible. The acting is pretty good. The guy who plays that one girl, or that one guy from Jessie, you know Jessie, the TV show, the old Disney Channel TV. The guy who plays Bertram is in it.
Really?
Yeah.
That guy.
He's the villain, but he's still pretty good. His name is Pruitt Taylor Vince.
Really?
Yeah. This movie is just metal. My review says, I don't know what aura means, but this movie has it. And Evan was like, that is the perfect review. I am very excited to see what you think of it, because I think you could either really hate it and think it's really pretentious, or I think you could really love it. I don't think there's going to be really any in between.
Fair enough.
I love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah, so that was my next one.
Okay, my next one. So I had done a long movie binge. I didn't get too much sleep. So I woke up the next morning, and as a Thursday morning cup of coffee, I decided to watch Old Boy. I saw it was on Netflix, dude. I forgot a lot about how traumatizing this movie is. I don't know, man. My brain went straight to the visuals and, like, the soundtrack and stuff. And I had seen a video of John Waters where he was, like, saying, watch a movie alone, watch a movie with people, watch a movie here, this, that, just describing, like, cinema as an experience. And he said one thing where he said, watch a movie with the sound off. And that sort of resonated with me of, like, I've never done that. I've seen Parasite without color, but I've never seen a movie with the sound off. So I decided to watch Old Boy without the subtitles. Only knowing the series of events and putting it together in a movie like this, is one of the most haunting experiences I've ever had on my film journey, where it's just you know what's going on, but you can't tell the exact wording of it.
Yeah.
Dude, I give it a 98 out of 100 because I'm still very conflicted with this movie. I still don't know what I think of it. It's incredible, yes.
No matter how it makes you feel, this movie is incredible. The hallway sequence and how that's shot is one of the greatest shot action sequences of all time. It is so cool.
If you get the chance to watch this movie with the commentary of the cinematographer, there's so much to it.
I would love. I mean, I'm gonna try to get this on physical, because this is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's just incredible.
And is
it Bong Joon-ho?
Park Chan-wook.
Park Chan-wook. Yeah. I always get them mixed up. Not because I'm racist, but because they have very similar styles and very similar filmographies.
Yeah. Understandable.
Because they both kind of do that darker kind of mystery thriller movies.
Yeah.
Because Park Chan-wook also did oh man,
Handmaiden, some other stuff.
Wait, then who did Memories?
That was Bong Joon-ho.
Okay. So maybe I am just being racist. No, they just, I mean, you can agree with me, they just have very similar vibes.
Memories of Murder is a very Park Chan-wook film.
Yeah. Oh, and Snowpiercer. I forgot he did that too. Have you watched Snowpiercer?
Oh, that was Bong Joon-ho, right?
No, that's Park Chan-wook.
Wait a minute. I think you might be wrong on that one.
No, because I was just looking at his filmography.
Snowpiercer's Bong Joon-ho.
What? Then Google is racist. Because I was just looking at his filmography and it said Snowpiercer under there. So, who's racist now? Movies. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Park Chan-wook, South Korean film director and screenwriter. Snowpiercer.
Bong Joon-ho on Letterboxd. Parasite, Memories of Murder, Snowpiercer.
Okay, who wrote Park Chan-wook? Snowpiercer.
Who wrote Snowpiercer?
Yeah.
Bong Joon-ho.
Then why is it popping up under Park Chan? Yeah, Google's racist, man. Oh my gosh.
Did he produce it?
I don't know.
No.
It pops up under his filmography.
Hold on a second. Oh my god, it does.
Isn't that weird?
Is he in it?
Let me see.
He act in it?
Chan-wook.
Yeah, dude, Google must be racist. That's the final consensus here. I'm on Letterboxd. He's listed nowhere in this thing. Writer, no.
Oh,
Actor.
he produced it.
Did he?
I mean, that's what Wikipedia says, but Wikipedia isn't the best source of information, so.
Yeah, Letterboxd doesn't have him as a producer either, and it has a lot of producers. Executive.
Right, well,
he's an executive producer on Snowpiercer.
Some site is out here being racist, and it's not me. So, let's make that very clear right now. You were talking about Oldboy. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up for me.
There's a thing on your. Oh, it's gone now.
What was it?
It said okay, and then like a bubble with a thumbs up in it popped up.
Is it if I? Sometimes if I do this, or like if I go like this, it'll. Yep. See, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
I don't know why it does that. Next up, I watched a short from one of my favorite up-and-coming filmmakers, Mr. Jagger Nelson. Jagger, when does this come out? We'll just promote 13th. It now.
The 13th.
Yeah. So I felt pretty special because Jagger sent me a pre-screen, and was I the first one to see it?
You were. I ended up sending it to a couple of people out there, but you were the first one to see it. Yeah.
God, I feel so special. Jagger sent me a pre-screening to his new short, A Summer Story. Made me cry. Well, it made me tear up. It made me tear up. You know, I don't cry at that much stuff, but I tear up. And I get like misty. It's beautiful. Soundtrack, it's perfect. Did you listen to that Crosby, Stills and Nash song, by the way? Helplessly Hoping?
Yeah, I did. And I tried to use it for the trailer because it was perfect. And I tried to use it for the trailer, and then TikTok wouldn't let me. So.
Oh, that's lame. Friggin' TikTok. Yeah, I mean, it's great. You've come a long way since your first one, the David Lynchian one. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. Everybody go check this out. OJ Productions on YouTube on the 13th. It is titled A Summer Story, and you can log it on Letterboxd. And hopefully nobody reports you for these shorts like last time.
Not again, please. Thank you.
Golly. If that person is still listening to our podcast, I don't know if you are, but stop. We don't want you listening to our podcast. You can go fuck yourself. Yeah, Summer Story. Excellent. Well done, my friend.
Thank you very much.
I will say this. I am biased because Jagger made it, and I love seeing stuff that my friends make, but I do think it's very good. Yes.
Thank you very
much. What's your next one?
My next one, if I'm not mistaken, would be The Village, which we are getting to today. So I'm going to skip over that. And then it's A Summer Story, which we just talked about. Then I skip over that, and then it's Signs. So I'm just going to go to the next one after that, which will probably bring us to a slightly even playing field. Because I've still got 5 left, including this one.
Are you serious? I totally miscounted then. I got 3.
How many do you have?
3.
Okay. Yeah. So my next one is the Poughkeepsie tapes. Woo! My dad's been a horror nerd for life. So I came to him hoping for an explanation on why people love this movie, because I had assumed he had seen it. Because he's always like, "Oh,
I want to make this clear. I never said I loved this movie. That is never a statement I have made. I don't even have this rated.
Okay. Love this movie is a wrong word. And in my review, I said why people love this movie and find it so scary. Would you at least agree with that you find this movie scary?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Okay. So he had heard of it, but he had never seen it. So he was very quick to hop on the train of watching this movie. So I decided to watch it with him. After this movie was over, his exact quote was, and I quote, 80 minutes of torture more terrorizing than the torture in the film.
Yeah.
I have this at a 0 out of 100. I have it labeled as the worst film I've seen in my entire life. Yeah, that's my review. I'm gonna quiet down now, but yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement. Next up, Jagger, I rewatched your favorite movie.
Am I blanking?
What movie do I watch like once a week?
Oh yeah, Tron Legacy. I love that movie.
I felt like it was time. It's still peak. It's still perfect. I love it. It makes me happy. It's excellent. It's just.
I have this rated
I
have this rated at a firm and nice 1.5. But all right.
That's fine.
I mean,
that's fine.
As long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, give us your next one.
Oh shit, man. We're saving that for a separate episode, though, right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so I won't say anything yet. But Cat Burglar, I watched that. Cat Burglar is like, I don't know, a 15-minute Netflix cartoon where they ask you trivia questions in the middle of it, and if you don't get them right, you die. and one of the things that it asked me was which of these is a famous Australian candy dish. What does that have to do with the thing? I mean, while it is aggravating for what it is, it's a cool idea. So I gave it a 3.5 because I had fun with it and I was tired and I enjoyed it. That's all it is, though.
Yeah. Next up for me, I watched The Illusionist with Edward Norton, Jessica Biel, and Paul Giamatti. It's really hard not to draw comparisons to The Prestige, because they are both about magicians. They both take place in the 1800s, and they both came out in the exact same year. And The Prestige is excellent, and this is pretty good. So if I were to look at this as only a standalone film, I think this is super solid.
Fair enough.
But in comparison to The Prestige, it doesn't hold a candle at all. I think the magic is really cool in this movie. Cool plot, twist I didn't see coming. But yeah, I just thought it was okay.
I still haven't seen The Prestige. Is it good? Would I like it?
I think you would. I think it's well written. I think it's engaging. It's cool. There's cool magic tricks, twists and turns that are always enjoyable. You know, dope score. Christian Bale.
Fair enough.
You know,
let me do some movie where he played Jesus. I want to watch that.
Oh, what movie is that? I know exactly what movie you're talking about. I can't remember what that is, though.
I think they'll Mary, Mother of Christ. Well, my next one is Electric 2, which is the 30-minute sequel to George O'Mahony's Electric. It's interesting. I'll tell you, I gave it 4 stars because for a 30-minute short film, I was really, for a lot of those, I'm expecting them to drag going into it, and it didn't really. I found it pretty entertaining and pretty consistent with its flow. So yeah, that's my last one.
Nice. My last one is The Muppets. This movie rips. There's jokes to enjoy when you're a kid and jokes to enjoy when you're an adult. This is maybe one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. I still listen to Man or Muppet on a consistent basis. I just love this movie. I love the characters. Jason Segel is excellent. Amy Adams is excellent. Jack Black. I mean, there's just so many celebrity cameos in this. It's so fun. Highly rewatchable. Same goes for the sequel. Yeah, love the Muppets. But yeah, that concludes our watch list. What would you like to talk about first? Signs or The Village?
Signs or The Village? I'll say Signs, just because I have that rated lower, and I want to finally be able to end an episode with a highly rated M. Night Shyamalan movie, because the looks are not looking positive from here on out. So,
well, I think you like Split.
I have Unbreakable at 1 star. How much better is Split than Unbreakable?
Well, it's very different.
It's different? Okay. Maybe we have hope.
I mean, it's about a guy who has multiple personality disorder who kidnaps 3 teenage girls, and it's about them trying to escape.
Oh. It's not terrible.
And he has 23 different personalities.
Oh, that's a lot of personalities.
And James McAvoy plays all 23.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to James McAvoy. Out here.
That guy's awesome.
23 characters. Wow.
Yeah. So why don't you kick it off with your review of Signs?
My review of Signs. I think Signs is pretty good for what it's trying to be. But I don't think what it's trying to be is exactly what I wanted out of this movie. Quick spoiler thing. There is no plot twist to this movie, which is weird for an M. Night Shyamalan movie, as it is really the shtick of an M. Night Shyamalan movie that there'll be a plot twist. So I went in sort of thinking there was going to be one, which I was sort of happy that there wasn't, because if there was, this movie did not need it. The ending that this movie had, I was not a fan of. It felt a little bit lame, in my opinion. Um, but I didn't mind it. I think that everything else in this movie works well enough as is. I think it's a pretty good movie, and that's all it really needed to be. Fun alien movie with some cool moments, some interesting tension, but for the most part falls sort of flat.
Yeah. I love this movie. Um, this was my first M. Night movie. I've never been very scared of aliens. There's never been like an alien horror movie that has scared me at all. I just think they're fun. Maybe Attack from Mars, the Tim Burton one. Those aliens are pretty creepy. No, that movie's just goofy. But I don't know. I really enjoy this one. Yeah, it's sorry, I'm reading all these texts from Evan. I got Signs. It's really good. I think Walk gives a really solid performance. I think everybody gives a really solid performance in this. I think there's some really goofy moments that are definitely intentional, like when Mel Gibson is running around the house because they think it's the neighbor boys, and he's like, "I am infuriated. I am filled with anger," is really funny. And the scene during the during when Meryl goes to the army recruiting office, that army recruiter is so out of pocket. Well, what are you doing here? I thought you'd be playing pro and sucking on beautiful women's toes. And I'm just like, did he just say that? It's just wild. I think the undertones and theme of like a guy struggling with his faith after losing his wife, and I think that all worked really well for me. The pharmacy scene is really funny where that girl is like begging him to listen to her so she can confess, and that was really funny. Yeah, I think I just have an all-around enjoyable time with this movie. Rory Culkin and Abigail Breslin put on outstanding performances. I mean, around that time they were both outstanding child actors, so they were both really good in this. Yeah, I just enjoy this a lot. So this goes number 2 in your M. Night rankings right now, correct?
Yes. This is number 2 in my M. Night ranking currently.
This, I think, is number 3 for me so far.
Fair enough.
I have Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village. Speaking of The Village, give us your review. Your favorite M. Night movie so far.
It's if The Witch was not as good as The Witch. And that's that's where this movie ends. No. This is a decent movie. It is. I think the aesthetic is cool. I think the end is pretty cool. I think the plot twist was sick. I didn't see that coming. And it was like, whoa, yeah, this is happening. I think there were a lot of scenes in this movie that were eerie, which I liked. I think the performances were great. Joaquin Phoenix gave a great performance, as is to be expected. Adrian Brody gave a great performance, as is also to be expected. Yeah, this is just a great movie. 3.5 stars. Maybe great's not the word. This is a really good movie. And
I love to hear that, because people hate on this one a lot.
Really?
And it's a lot of hate I don't think it deserves. I think there's a lot to enjoy here. The scene where Bryce Dallas Howard is going into the towns, and she's like, she sees like the ones that they do not mention. I think that's what they call them. The
The
monsters.
ones they don't talk about, something like that.
Yeah, she sees the one, and at this point, you think that, like, you know that those are all a hoax. But then the audio cuts back in where William Hurt is like, they were based on, like, legends and stories about actual creatures that people think lives in this forest. And you know that it's like none of like the elders who are from the town, and so you're like, wait, is this actually a monster? But then you figure out it's Adrian Brody and that she killed Adrian Brody. But that scene I feel like has a lot of tension, because you actually, I don't know about you, but I even this watch, because it's been a long time since I've seen this, so even this watch I was like, that's totally a monster. What is happening? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way, but
I did.
I thought that was really cool. There's some really good tension there. And I didn't put it together until this watch that, like, where the guy that's reading the newspaper in the, like, scout shack is like, yeah, somebody pays to, like, have no one, like, go in here and no planes to fly over this preserve, and my job is just to keep people out, you know, and I just get paid to do that. I didn't never put it together that it's probably the people who live in there that are paying to do that.
Oh.
See,
I didn't
you
even
didn't
notice that line. I didn't put that together.
Yeah, where I was like, oh, that totally makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
Where they're just like paying to like be removed from society. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I did not see the twist coming. And I knew you wouldn't see it coming because there's only a couple moments in the beginning that kind of hint at it. My dad talks about, he saw this in the theater. My dad really, really likes this movie. He saw this in the theater, and he said he guessed it, or he thought something was up like right away, because he thought the silverware looked way too nice for that time period.
Really?
Like in the beginning where they're all eating, if you look at the silverware, it's very nice modern silverware. And as far as I know, that's like the only way you can pick it up. Other than that, it's not really hinted at.
Okay, I'm pretty good at picking stuff up. Picking up on the model of silverware is absolutely wild. That is a wild thing to pick up on. Congrats to your dad on picking that one up. That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't checked out this movie, check it out. It's great. I don't think we've really totally spoiled the twist. So we won't. And let me say this. If you're a person that gets like a movie spoiled for you and you're like, well, there's no reason to watch it now. What are you doing?
Watch the execution.
Yeah. You can still watch everything else. You just need to calm down. You know? Like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Like, I haven't seen We're All Going to the World's Fair yet because, wait, no. I saw the TV glow. I haven't seen it yet because my dad wants to see it with me. But I listened to Jagger and Evan's entire conversation about it. Because I don't care. I'm still going to watch the movie, and it's not going to affect my viewing experience at all. You know?
Yeah.
It may heighten it if I know there's things to come that I can, like, pick up on stuff that I wouldn't usually pick up on. It may heighten it. Who knows? But I try not to let being spoiled for a movie, unless it's Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, ruin it for me. Have I told you that story?
No.
So, Multiverse of Madness came out when I was a senior in high school. And this was back when I was still, like, Marvel. I was all in. You know, I was like, Marvel can do no wrong. Everything has either been amazing or pretty good up to this point. You know? This was before I was, like, now, I'm, like, out on Marvel. I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Then I was still, like, going to see everything opening night, and, you know, I was all in. So, senior year, it's the Friday that Multiverse of Madness came out. I had tickets to go see it that night. And You might be too young for this, but there used to be this app called iFunny, and it was like social media, but literally just memes. And so I was sitting in World Wars class, just looking at my phone, just scrolling through, and I scroll onto this video, and it's the scene from Multiverse of Madness where, like, they bring Doctor Strange into, like, the Illuminati Council, where it's, like, Reed Richards and Charles Xavier and all those people. And I didn't realize it until John Krasinski shows up as Reed Richards, and I just scream in the middle of my teacher's lecture, just no! And I throw my phone against the wall. And she's like, Trey, are you okay? And I was like, God damn it! I'm literally like 2 hours away from seeing it, and it just got spoiled for me. I was so pissed. But then the movie turned out to suck butt, so...
Whoa. That's peak MCU.
Here's the thing. And my dad has told me this as well. He's like, now that you've seen the Evil Dead movies, I think you should rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because it is very similar, like the comedy and the way it's shot and all that stuff. It's very similar to an Evil Dead movie. And so I will give it a rewatch. As of right now, I think I have it at like a 1.5 stars.
I have it at a 4.5.
Yeah. I will say this. The sequence where he fights evil Doctor Strange with the music notes is sick.
Dude, that movie's sick.
And then Switch, just soloing all of those people.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at the time. I was really pissed at the time because I loved all those characters, and I was like, sweet, we're finally getting these characters in the MCU. But now that I look back on it, I'm like, that scene was kind of dope.
I don't know. It is what it is. You'll rewatch it at some point, and maybe you'll appreciate it a little more. Maybe you'll hate it more. Who knows?
Yeah, so those are our reviews for today. Thank you for joining us on another OG Average Film Enjoyer episode. Well, OG episode would just be Jagger. Just talking into the mic.
That's really beyond OG, and half of those episodes don't exist anymore to the public. So
That's true. So this is OG Average Film Enjoyer. Dude, I gotta tell you, when you called me asking me to come back, you have no idea how excited I was. Because, like, I kept this going because I knew one day you would be like, you'd want to come back. Because, like, Fourth Wall, the episodes you guys were coming out with Fourth Wall Film Talk were great. You guys just weren't being, I think we got, like, total of, like, 3 or 4 Fourth Wall Film Talk episodes.
Yeah. Sitting in
At
Panera
least on
Bread when I
YouTube.
called.
You were what?
I was sitting in Panera Bread, and I was like, I want to go back to Average Film Enjoyer.
Yeah, dude.
So I called you.
And, like, this is our baby.
It is.
Like, we were doing this consistently when we were getting, like, 1 or 2 listens per episode and, like, 2 views on YouTube. And now we're at a point where we consistently get, like, 30, 40 views on YouTube, and we're at, like, 2,600 returning listeners. It's crazy.
That's crazy to think
We've been
about.
doing
That's
this for
wild.
We've been doing this for almost a year.
Yeah. That's insane.
A year since, like, our first episode together. I think our first episode is, like, June 25th of last year or something.
Something like that, right? Yeah.
We'll have to do, a special episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, you remember when we did that Get to Know You episode that we just never released?
Where is that?
Dude, I don't know. That was before I even knew how to download or edit any. That was before our YouTube era. So if anybody has it, it's you.
That's lost media.
Yeah, but I was thinking maybe for our, like, 1 year anniversary, we release a bonus episode doing that.
Yeah. Let's do that.
I could find that filter again, and me, you, and Evan could do it.
Here, I'll look into my old hard drives. I'll see if I can find that episode, and we can compare and contrast to our old
the
tape.
Shitty sound quality of that one. That was back when we were still using, what was that other software we used to record?
Discord
God.
we used, I think.
Well, Discord, but the recording software.
Oh, we were using like Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah, dude. Golly, man.
Oh, it's so funny.
A
I was just thinking about it. When I sent you Audition, I was in Florida. I was on a vacation. I was in Florida, and I had seen your video of a Breakfast Club. When you reviewed that long while ago.
Yeah,
and
back when I was still doing TikToks.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this guy's cool. Let me ask him if he wants to do the podcast. So I had been sending out, like, hey, will you do my podcast? I am running a film podcast. I just started it. Any guests help? Whatever the message was. And I'd sent it to a couple of people. I sent it to Seth's Film Reviews once. He said, yeah, reach out. And he never messaged me back. That stunk. I feel that, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like,
but then
for sure.
We had Seth on.
We did have Seth on at some point or another, yeah. But way earlier on, I had asked him. And then I sent it to you, and you said, sure, what movie should I watch? You said, you should watch The Dark Knight. So I did, and I sent you Audition, and that's how this whole thing started.
Yeah.
With you, yeah. But, man, I gotta find that video. It's gotta be somewhere. It has to be somewhere.
I don't know what your first... No, it was... I messaged you first.
Did you?
Because I think you... Yeah, I'm looking at our first messages right now, back in July of last year. Because I think you posted a video about podcasting. We're going to keep this in, by the way, because I think people like hearing this kind of thing. And I said, hey, man, if you ever want to do a podcast together, let me know. Or if you just want to hop on a Zoom call and just talk film. I'm always looking for people to talk film with. This was back when I was just looking for friends. I had, like, just gotten sober, and I had zero social life. And I was just like, oh, man, I just want people to talk to. And then you messaged me back. And then, like, a week and a half later, you said... two things. If you were interested in doing the podcast, I would love to have you on. If you have Discord, that's my primary way to record episodes. I saw that you have Audition on your watch list. I watched that a few days ago, and there's a lot to be said about it. So if you have time to watch that. And we didn't record.
Yeah, you took a while. You took a while to watch that movie.
Because I was nervous, dude. So we recorded... July 22nd. That was our first episode together. Yeah, so here's my favorite story to tell. So after we get done, I get a message from Jagger. I recorded this episode in my AirPods on my telephone. It was not good. Jagger sent me a message, and I was, like, looking to start a podcast around this time. I was like, that'd be cool if I had my own podcast. That'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. Jagger says, just so you know, that episode will be up tonight. And I said, sweet, sounds good, boss. Again, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. And if you ever want to join a call to watch a movie or just talk about film, hit me up. And I was like, God, Trey, don't be so desperate. And then Jagger says, doing episodes alone sucks, and I don't really have anyone to do it with, so yeah, just consider yourself co-host. He didn't even ask me. He just told me. Didn't. He just told me, you're the co-host now, and I was like, hell yeah, dude! And then we just started recording every week.
Here, wait. If I turn this around, I don't even know how to do this. This is the room you were sitting in.
That's not even our first episode.
No, this isn't. This was later on. This was the Halloween thing, because I got the
that looks like stuff that looks like Hooptober.
Yeah, I can't even find anything earlier than that. This is the one we did with Wes about the handmaiden.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can go back in our YouTube channel, and I think the first one we did was with Gunch. It Happened One Night. That was...
Yes, we did, yeah.
That was like our first one that we posted on YouTube. And you can go back and listen to like old episodes of ours, like from the beginning.
Yeah, dude, that episode's lost media. That one's lost.
What, the Get to Know Us episode?
Yeah, half of those files are missing now. Like the old stuff. That's why I don't have any of my old YouTube videos anymore. They all just went one or another. I don't even know where that. I had a whole drive just for like YouTube videos and early episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Well, that's our podcast for today. We really enjoy doing this. We hope you guys enjoy listening. Join us again Tuesday for 12 Years a Slave and Blade Runner. I'm hyped. I think Jagger's hyped too.
I'm very hyped.
He's very hyped. And Evan will be back on Tuesday. So that's exciting. We miss him. So, yeah. Thanks for joining, and we will see you next time on The Average Film Enjoyer.